People magazine called this the most important or most influential comedy institution of its generation. And I can't think of anybody who could put it better than that, with the possible exception of me. And here I am.
Thank you. Okay, let's hold it down. We got to go through this in a hurry. Now, Saturday Night Live. It's been called the show that changed television. On October 11, 1975, at 11:30 p.m., it premiered right here on NBC. The inmates had taken over the asylum. The Woodstock Nation had control of the airwaves. And what followed was an unforgettably irreverent wave of counterculture, idol-smashing, sacred cow-tripping entertainment. Entertainment presented by a bunch of wild and crazy, cone-headed, samurai, Gumby-colored, Rosanna Dana, church lady, liar performers. A bunch of maniacs spouting their Jane, you ignorant slut, cheeseburger, cheeseburger. I'm Chevy Chase. You're not. You look marvelous. Never mind. Isn't that special? That's the ticket brand of comedy. And for 15 years, that comedy's been flowing into our brains like hot molten lava into a wet paper sack. And a lot of people are saying, hey, the party's over. Enough is enough. Stop beating that dead horse. Let sleeping dogs lie. Never give a sucker an even break. Tippecanoe and Tyler, too. In other words, pull the plug on the darn show. But a lot of other people say, well, excuse me. We need this show. We need this show. These people just want to pump you up. It's not your world. It's Wayne's world. It's Wayne's world. Who else is going to make fun of the Jessica Hahn, Jim and Tammy the Greek, Iran, Contra, Dan Quayle, gaffing, swaggart, sobbing Leona Helmsleys in our society? The very people, the so-called legitimate media, keep ramming down our throats like hot pork into an overworked kielbasa sausage stuffing machine. Well, today we're going to tackle this controversy and put this and other questions to the current cast of Saturday Night Live. Is there a future for not ready for primetime television? But first, back to me.
This is Phil Hartman, ladies and gentlemen. Come on up here, brother. I'm telling you. Anywhere at all, Phil. Anywhere at all. Oh, my word, you made me famous. Phil Hartman, I'll tell you, every time I see it, I don't laugh the first time. I watch it and my tongue sticks to the roof of my mouth. And the second time, I laugh. And always laugh. The man is talented. And now I'm pleased to present the rest of this very creative, outrageous, merry band of laugh makers who are about to celebrate in prime time. Maybe they are ready. Sunday on NBC from 9 to 11:30 p.m. First, here in his fourth season, you know him as the characters that include Franz of Hans and Franz. He also plays Sam Donaldson. Kevin Nealon, right here. Crazy about Who could replace Chevy Chase in the Weekend Update? This man did. Here is the most successful weekend anchorman on television today, Dennis Miller, right here. In his 5th season, you know him as the liar, the master thespian, and Harvey Fierstein. John, I just want to be loved. Love it. She does Rosanna Barr better than the star herself, and she's the off-key lounge singer, Victoria Jackson. Well, she's been the French sex kitten centerfold Babette. She's also Liz Sweeney of the Sweeney Sisters nightclub act. She's wild and crazy. She is the dumbest female talk show host in the history of the universe, Nora Dunn, right here. Here's the church lady, Dana Carvey. And we hope you'll join us.
I never thought I'd like it.
Well, don't look now, but Saturday Night Live is hot. And if you think it's easy to keep the old feather in the air all these years, you try it sometime. This is as creative a gathering of funny people as we've got. Let me give you just one example. You do get to talk. Just stand by 1 second here. Here she is, bless her soul. It is the church lady, and her guests on her show are Jim and Tammy Faye Baker. Roll the tape.
Well, Tammy, while Jimmy was there out there drugging and Jesse and reaffirming his manhood, what exactly were you doing?
Well, you know, church lady, those nights just sort of blur together, don't they, honey? But, you know, Jim would go out every night during Crosswits, and that's when I got addicted to all manner of flu pills, and I hallucinated cats out of the ceiling. I did, didn't I, honey? And sometimes their heads would vaporize and explode, and, yeah, and once it felt like someone shoved a bun cake ring down over my head, and the bun, right, honey?
Yes.
And the bun unbraided, and the filling rose up in flames, and all the raisins turned into demons, and I put my hands up, and I said, demonic raisins, I rebuke you.
Well, isn't that special?
All right, it's my job to ask. I keep wanting to do Hartman. How does a person get to be at the center of this cultural experience? San Francisco State University? You won a comedy stand-up competition?
Yes.
You've been in the movies, and hey, this has got to be fun. I hope you're not enjoying this. Give it to somebody else.
No, it's just weird to get known to the public as a guy wearing a dress. It still feels...
I know the feeling.
Yeah. We're getting real personal, aren't we?
Nora Dunn, should we be surprised? St. Mary's Academy, Chicago, Illinois. I bet you were the best kid in the class.
Yeah, I got a few pink slips, but...
Uniform and all that?
Yes, navy blue.
Uh-huh. And then you did what the nuns were probably fearful that you would do. You actually went out into the world. Mm-hmm. The Art Institute of Chicago, and then, you know, what, you're serving Eggs Benedict. Can this be true?
I was serving Eggs Benedict when I got this job. I attribute it really to the hollandaise and the...
But obviously you felt I mean, you didn't grow up wanting to be a funny...
I was a good waitress, and I'm not going to deny that. But I got a little tired of it. I wanted to move into a different field, and I was lucky enough to be able to make the transition.
And you're next to Brother Hartman. The man who provokes more questions about me occasionally than does our program. Here are some of the... You imitate Ronald Reagan, Swaggart, and First Lady Barbara Bush. I'm not going to ask you to... you were also in Big, were you not, the movie?
No.
I was in Big.
You were in Big,
John
I'm
was
sorry.
in
Sorry.
Well, we worked in...
Well, I played Phil in Big.
I see,
Yeah.
I see.
No, John and I were in Jumping Jack Flash, which was Penny's first feature film.
Uh-huh. You must be thrilled with what's happening to your show. You've been there long enough to know that, like everybody else in this game, you don't always hit a grand slam home run with 2 outs in the ninth. But the show is hot. People, your reviews are good, and so are the ratings. Do I have all this pretty straight?
Yeah, we really do appear to be holding our own, and I think it's fantastic, given that the market is so fragmented and we're competing with cable and video cassette rental and everything else. I think we still have an audience, and the ratings have pretty much held stable for... What are you laughing at, John?
I just said you're like the dad.
Well, I'm going to separate you two if you don't shut up.
Victoria Jackson, his characters include... Well, yes, ma'am.
This is the stage we auditioned on, this room.
For the show which
To get the
originates from
job.
next door.
I was so nervous when I was on this stage.
I know.
3
You
years
imagine
ago.
me. I got to come in here every day. We should say that this is of interest probably to nobody but us. We are neighbors. This is 8G, and you're in 8H, the Tuscanini, famous Tuscanini studio here on the 8th floor of the RCA building in Rockefeller Center. Did I say the RCA building? I meant to say the GE building. So it's fun, Victoria. I mean, come on. I mean, what are you, about 20-something?
Thank you.
Are you?
I just turned 30, and that's why I got my hair cut. Thank you.
All right.
Because all women, you know, after women have a child, they always cut their hair. And I always thought that was terrible. They should look beautiful for their husband forever, like your wife has long hair still. But I couldn't help it. My hands just did it.
Now, did people in high school in the cafeteria say, you're a riot?
No,
You weren't,
No one
probably.
ever thought I was funny. And they just didn't let me be in the school play because my speech teacher said I talked like a baby to get attention.
I'll tell you, we should all have this kind of attention and success. Here's the star, one of the stars of Big, John Lovitz, in his 5th season with the Saturday Night Live. You like him, don't you?
Hi, Dad. You heard him. Yeah, one of the stars is Big. Yeah.
You do laugh, you know, just looking at you, everybody, just a smile breaks out. Now, this is a
that's good.
commentary on your talent, not on your persona. So it's a joy to do this, and you're probably moving on because you're too big for these guys. No.
Well, yeah. No, it's great. To me, I mean, most of my background was straight acting, and then I was in the Groundlings Theater in Los Angeles, which was Lorraine Newman was in there, and Paul Rubens, and that's also Phil Hartman and I were in it together, and so that's when I just did comedy for 3 years. But to me, one of the highlights of doing the show is that you get to do scenes with like all the top actors in the country, and like last year there was like 5 or 6 Academy Award nominees and winners. I mean, yeah, it's great.
Every big shot now in show business wants to be on your program. Dennis Miller joins us, Weekend Update. Here's the book on Brother Miller. In 1983, he spent $300 for a sweater and thought he had lost his mind. Do I have it correct?
I remember that was the first time I thought I was making fun money, and I thought I could spend that on a sweater. Up to that point, I had spent $300 on a car. So it was the first time I thought showbiz is going to be a little different than real life.
Right. Dennis, you are magnificent on this program. You have a great mind. You are very funny, and I know you will not be upset if I say you are not the kind of guy that lights up the room. Do you know what I mean? Now, this is not, I know you don't see this as an insult, which it certainly is not intended to be. Lots of folks don't. In other words, you're not the pie-in-the-face guy.
I think you've perfectly illuminated the plight of anybody in show business in that one sentence. A man can go from telling you you're magnificent to you don't light up a room. It's the schizophrenic nature of the beast, I would say.
But you are a quiet dude.
Well, I was never an actor. I mean, so all my compatriots have more extensive acting background, but I feel very uncomfortable doing characters. I always kind of worked on doing me. And so I think that's what, if people say I'm quiet, it's just because I've never been able to do voices or impressions. I lack that Y chromosome. But,
well, the greats were quiet fellow. Jack Benny was hardly a guy who tap danced on top of the bar himself. And so I just think it's interesting that a guy of your steady Eddie personality, you deliver it, kid. You get the laughs, babe.
I'm glad I interest you.
Thank you. And here's Sam Donaldson himself, Kevin Nealon. And Mr. Subliminal, too.
There you have it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And you yourself don't necessarily trip on banana peels either, do you? I mean, this is... I just would like to expose your real personality to our audience. You weren't the show-off in school?
No, I wasn't. I was kind of the quiet guy, you know.
That makes it tough on talk show hosts when you guest with them. But this is who you are, and...
No, I think among my friends, I'm more the wise guy. You know, I walk that fine line between a wise guy and a funnier guy.
Did you audition here as well?
No.
How'd this happen for you?
I auditioned over in the real studio. Not the real studio, but
I know what I mean. Yeah.
Well, it's the only studio I've been in, but
this is your only television experience, SNL?
Pretty much, except for talk shows, and stand-up comedy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But I could do other stuff. I could do them.
How great was the pressure, coming to the show, following other such, successful casts, as the original and the Eddie Murphy cast and everyone else?
Anyone? No pressure. None at all.
The pressure of the show is, it's being fun every week. I mean, you can't really go in there and add pressure by thinking about somebody who did the show 5, 10, or 15 years ago. There's an hour and a half to fill each week, and that's the pressure. But I don't think any one of us has ever really thought of working in anybody else's shadow. There's too much to do each week to sit there and dwell on stuff like that.
So it's a happy camp, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Because it hasn't always been. Saturday Night Live began to generate more news than laughs there for a while.
Well, I know when I got the show, I just thought, I can't be John Belushi or Eddie Murphy. I can't do it because they're great and I can't do what they do. So I figured, well, I'll just do my own thing and hope that works. Otherwise, you're sunk. You can't be them.
Are you there, caller? Hi.
Yes, I am.
Go ahead.
I'm calling from Lowell, Mass, and I just want to say this cast of Saturday Night Live has kept Saturday Night Live alive. Oh. Thank you.
Just come out here.
Yeah.
Thank you. We're just getting applause out here for 10 minutes.
Your
Thank
sister.
you.
As far as the characters that you play, are most of them brought out from yourselves, or are they giving to you to work on? Do you come up with your own characters? Because they seem so...
I know I had Phil Donahue dropped right in my lap. I'd never done an impersonation of you before, and the writers just showed up with it on our second show, and it was a tough one for me. I really had to work to get you down. I made little drawings of your hand gestures, and Phil Donahue doesn't push his glasses back like I do. I do it like this. He does it like this. And I put all the elements together that way.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm curious about what your schedule is like prior to a show and how many hours of preparation there are in making one.
Well, it's an all-week thing, pretty much. Monday is probably... Sunday's the easiest day. We don't work at all. Kind of recover. And then Monday, kind of recover a little bit more, Tuesday. You hang out a little bit on Tuesday, you know what I mean? And then Tuesday night you start writing. And it's kind of an all-night thing.
And you're actively participating with the writers in the development of sketches. So.
Yeah, the whole cast participates in
we
writing.
write, like, I made up The Liar and Master Thespian and Get to Know Me and all that, and Dana writes The Church Lady, and then Keen, Kevin, and Hans and Franz, and we write.
I calculated it to be about a 60 to 70-hour week, the week we do a show, and that's why we really can't do more than 3 shows in a row without it becoming a zombie marathon.
But those are dog hours, which...
Yes. Yeah. This show ages you like the presidency.
In advance of the celebration of the 15th anniversary of Saturday Night Live, this coming Sunday night on NBC, that is to say from 9 to 11, I am pleased to just share with you just a couple of brief moments of this historic television achievement. Here are Jane Curtin and Dan Aykroyd. Point, counterpoint. Watch this.
We'll take the pro-test tube baby point, and I will take the anti-test tube baby counterpoint. Jane?
Dan, there is no joy greater than that of motherhood. No doubt you cannot understand this because your mother obviously regretted your birth and refused to suckle you, thereby accounting for your fearful, frustrated personality. It is inconceivable that anyone other than a cold, pompous ass such as yourself would deny a woman the chance of bringing a baby into the world just because she's unable to conceive otherwise. What is this, irrational fear of medical advances? Why not deny the nearsighted their eyeglasses? Why not deny the diabetic his insulin? Well, Dan, I just hope that you contract some disease for which they have no cure and that you waste away and die.
Jane, you ignorant slut. The issue here is not motherhood, apple pie, nor is it the traditional medical treatment of disease. The issue here is genetic engineering. Once science can make babies in a test tube, then what? Will science make intelligent babies, pro-socialist babies, slave babies? And who will play God in these decisions? The government, that's who, which is run by liberals like you, Jane. Then the world will be inhabited by billions of laboratory-perfected ignorant sluts like yourself.
That's the news. Good night and have a pleasant tomorrow.
I'll tell you this, I don't know whether, certainly not on free TV, you won't find anything as irreverent, bawdy, raucous, outrageous as Saturday Night Live, and I think that's the nicest thing I can say about these creative artists. No kidding, in a country that you guys got, didn't the moral majority get on your case, didn't they? And didn't sponsors drop their tools and run from you, did they not, in the last 12 months? I think you did a sketch in which the word penis played some kind of prominent role.
Yeah. Even in asking us about it, you used the phrase "drop your tools." So,
yes, I did.
I guess this.
So we can only speculate on how much longer I've got. Let me just see if I can encourage you to speak to this. We'll break, yes, but this is more than just passing interest to me. How is it with the censors, and what's it like here on the 8th floor? And are the winds blowing freely here, or do you feel some anxiety around you? I'm asking.
Well, we have more censorship than the first show did. Yeah. That's one thing that people don't really understand. We can't, the climate has changed. We don't do anything pro-drug at all. In the old show, it was, a different time. So that's very tight. And when I did The Church Lady, there were times, remember that episode with the priest that there was problems.
Can you set it up, or just let us, you don't have to get laughs, I'd just like to know what's getting scrubbed today. That's why we're here. We want to learn.
Well, we didn't get scrubbed that much this year because we didn't have censors. We just had the one. But we were doing a thing about priests and AIDS, and of course that didn't make it. And we had the priest confessional with dogs coming in. Now, we did get to do that last year, and that was, to me, very funny, because I was Catholic. A lot of my humor is embedded in that.
But that survived, you say?
It did, but the following, we weren't able to do it the year we wanted to do it.
I see.
Next year we really
you had to wait for the dust to settle, so to speak.
Yeah, it just depends how you
put it. We're calling the censors dust?
Well, John.
Well, I can name you 2 sketches. One was with Tony Danza, where it was supposed to be War of the Worlds, but it was the War of the Worlds. And so he said funk and A. So, because they won't rerun that, and I was in a sketch with Steve Gutenberg.
F-O-N-K and A. he said.
Yeah, you know, like...
Yeah, but he said it in that phonetic way.
Yeah, and we aired the sketch, and the sketch aired. Now they say you can't rerun it, but it's already been on TV. I mean, it's very awkward.
I see.
But see, that's the thing about these groups who write in and protest and say they're going to boycott products is they often miss the most insightful stuff, the stuff that they should really be worried about that might be a little dangerous, and they focus on things like the word penis or somebody saying funk. That's the one good thing we have over them is they're often dense enough that they miss the really insightful stuff. You know.
Victoria, please.
My only experience with censorship was once I wrote a thing where I take my daughter to the park to search for drug dealers to see if Reagan's anti-drug thing is working. And I thought I could get footage of my daughter swinging, and, you know, just because it's fun to see my daughter on TV. But it would be funny. And they said I couldn't do it because it would trivialize the drug problem. So I had to change it to we went to the park to look for, what are those guys called who shoot everybody?
Photographer?
No, it was when...
Photographer.
No.
Murderers?
It was that period 3 years ago.
Snipers and...
No, on the planes where they're blowing up people.
Terrorists.
Terrorism.
Yeah, terrorists. Yeah.
No, so we changed it to me and Scarlett went to look for terrorists in the park. Because that was okay, but looking for drugs wasn't.
Uh-huh. I think, but I think this nervousness about drugs and what you say and don't get any laughs about it is very indicative of this whole problem our beloved nation now has about drugs. We are not honest with ourselves about drugs, and we appear to insist that you not be honest about it in your comedy.
Yeah, but
that's too bad.
On top of that, drugs have gotten so sad. I mean, you know, back in that era, drugs were 2 kids on a log with a joint at Woodstock, and drugs now are like 12-year-old kids in you know, tenement houses
Bodies
doing
in
crack,
trunks,
and it is a nightmare. Now, you don't have to do jokes about drugs.
I will tell you this. We have in our repertoire of material down through the years from Saturday Night Live a brief sketch about drugs, which I think is funny, and I'm not so sure it'd pass today, but we'll take a look at that and talk with these talented people in just a moment.
Write Donahue tickets, care of NBC, New York, New York, 10112.
I read the news in the press. Most of us will die of stress unless we dance old chronic depression away. We want power and control. That's a really unhealthy goal. It's time to dance old chronic depression away. If you're back against the wall and your career's in a stall, don't jump out the office window, 'cause the sidewalk will break your fall. Shake the blonde, take a chance, roll up the carpet and move the plants. Dance, 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 depression away!
My question's to Victoria Jackson.
Victoria, yes.
I was wondering if you could do one of your poems for us.
Oh, let me think. Okay, but first, Bonnie and Terry Turner wrote that tap dance song. I didn't write it, and so, but I wrote most all the, but anyway. Okay, I wrote this adultery song because on Donahue, like, it's usually lesbians and adultery and stuff like that. But I'll just sing it really fast. Talk about love, talk about morality. Are we having an affair, or are you just glad to see me? When we kiss goodnight, is a kiss time by the minute? If the minute's too long, does our sweet little kiss have a big sin in it? Where do you draw the line between love and adultery? If you're a friend of mine, can I hold your hand? It goes like that.
All right.
Yeah.
Is there anything off limits? You've been talking about stuff that's controversial.
I'm impressed, just let me interrupt to say, with the fact that you have shared with us sketches that have aired and they won't rerun. That's interesting.
Yeah, I was saying there was a sketch I did with Steve Guttenberg. Now, admittedly, this was just a sick sketch. And I played a blind guy, and he played a gay guy who was pretending to be a woman, and then kept trying to seduce me into bed. So he'd go, all right, come on. We'd in our boxer shorts. I'm like, all right. And then we'd get in the bed and turn off the lights and be black for a second. And you hear me say, oh, God, get out of here. You know, like that. And then he goes, all right, I'm leaving. Then he wouldn't leave. And this happened like 3 times. Then at the end of the sketch, he just said, well, we did this because it's a horrible thing to do and you just shouldn't do it. And really, there was no reason to do it but that it was just black humor.
Yes.
And it aired, but they won't rerun it.
Has it ever happened that one of the people you're impersonating has written you a letter to criticize something you've said about them?
Usually they're very flattered by it. Actually, Casey Kasem has sent me a gift every time I've done him. Every time. Thank you very much.
Go ahead. You mind?
I enjoy you doing me every time you do me. Yeah, he loves it. Usually they're flattered. I don't know about the others.
You're getting very good George Bush from somewhere in that brain.
Working on it.
Is there just a snippet, maybe?
Yeah, Bush, at first I didn't have him at all at the beginning of the season. It was just sort of a whiny voice like this. And then toward the end of the season, I just figured out, first you do Mr. Rogers, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. If you want to do it at home, then you do John Wayne, well, come on, everybody. And if you put them together, doing that thing, working hard out in that whole area, that's how you, so if you want to do it, it's a combo thing. Working on it.
Are you there? I'm glad you waited high.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, hi. The church lady has always been my favorite character, and I just wanted to know why Dana Carvey doesn't do her anymore.
Well, I'm waiting for the right moment. I'd like to publicly say that if Rob Lowe would come on Church Chat, I will definitely bring the character back. So I'm waiting for the proper social scandal.
Sir, I'm going to agree with whatever this guy has to say.
Yeah, you look very large,
I wouldn't
my
ask
friend,
you
so.
what you guys make, but do you all have the same contract? Or is there, you know, does John make more? Does John make more? Or
as far as we know,
are there any openings?
As far as we know, we're all making the same money. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Love your hair.
I just want to tell you, the thing about Saturday Night that impresses me the most is your versatility and the lack of glitz. And the fact that the political commentary, this is what I really love. I have a question about that. Are you involved in the creation of the political commentary?
Well, I write most of the news, so I
You
guess,
do,
yeah.
you do. All right. Well, I really appreciate it.
Well,
I really think you're
We
right.
have to give credit to Al Franken.
Go ahead and do so.
Al Franken is our resident political expert, and he actually was at the Democratic Convention on the floor, and a lot of that debate material you saw, which got us our writing Emmy this year, was pretty
Yes,
much
congratulations on the Emmy. Brother Hutton is one of the...
And Jim Downey, of course, too.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
Ring
Sir.
Hi, we're back. Okay. There's no doubt about it. You guys are so funny and so great. But weeks ago, I was watching the best of Saturday Night Live, and I saw a thing with Gilda Radner. I don't know if you remember it, where she was making fun of those singing commercials where they do the songs and everything. How do you guys? I mean, with all the, it looks like they've done it all. How do you guys keep up the originality of it?
Well, you know, we have something that they didn't have, and that is this year, this time, now.
Yeah.
We've got Jim and Tammy Baker. They had, you know, other people. That's the thing about the show, and the nature of satire is you're always commenting topically on what's happening right now. And that's why we can't, comparing us to the old cast is apples and oranges. It
In
just
that
doesn't work.
connection, speaking of topicality, watch this sketch. I don't even know the year. It's not too long ago. Can't be too long ago. This troupe. You'll recognize the faces. Roll the tape, Brian.
In response to what its sponsors claim is an idea whose time has come, the first all-drug Olympics opened today in Bogota, Colombia. athletes are allowed to take any substance whatsoever before, after, and even during the competition. So far, 115 world records have been shattered. We go now to correspondent Kevin Nealon, live in Bogota for the weightlifting finals. Kevin.
Dennis, getting ready to lift now is Sergei Akhmudov of the Soviet Union. His trainer has told me that he's taken anabolic steroids, Novocaine, NyQuil, Darvon, and some sort of fish paralyzer. Also, I believe he's had several cocktails within the last hour or so. All of this, of course, is perfectly legal at the All-Drug Olympics. In fact, it's encouraged. Akhmudov is getting set now. He's going for a clean and jerk of over 1,500 pounds, which would triple the existing world record. That's an awful lot of weight, Dennis, and here he goes. You know, you hate to see something like this happen, Dennis. He probably doesn't have that much pain right now, but I think tomorrow he's really going to feel that, Dennis. Back to you.
Okay. See what I mean? Pow! Well, perfect. I take a lot of ribbing about being the father figure on the show, but don't anybody say I don't suffer for my art.
Yes, you do. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
You all seem to love working on Saturday Night Live, but do you feel that you haven't arrived yet? I recognize all of you, but I don't think my mother does. Are you just waiting to get really, really discovered into superstardom like the people that worked before you?
You know, it used to seem like Saturday Night Live was the position you reached when you made it. But I think since the original cast, since they've moved on to do movies, it seems like that interim period where you're just, you know, getting on the dock to...
I'll tell you something else, I think. Although I am not your most objective witness, I think television's getting a little bit more...
What?
Let me...
clarify.
Well, let me tell you. How many Emmy winners in the last Emmy were movie stars? In other words, television, I think, has, for reasons I don't understand when you read the paper and the critics and so on, because there's a lot about us that, we all want to make better. But I agree with you. I think Saturday Night Live is a pinnacle of comedy now, where it was once thought of as a stepping stone.
Yeah, we'd like to be able to just rest and say, okay, we made it. You know, let's relax.
You know, that's an
Dennis.
interesting hypothesis, Phil, but I think the problem can be traced back to her mother. And,
yes. Are you there? You're laughing at this? We're trying to... Hang on just 1 second. I got a woman's phone's growing out of her ear. Are you there, caller, or is it a man? I don't even know.
It's a woman.
Yes,
I'm here. I'm calling from Smith College, and I would love it if Nora Dunn would do Pat Stevens for us. We love her.
Well, I can't see you, but I sense you're wearing blush. Am I right?
Here is the most vacuous talk show hostess in the history of our industry interviewing Cory Aquino.
Interesting lady.
An interesting lady. On the occasion of her ascendancy to the office of President of the Philippines. Roll the tape.
I feel that the American people should know that I am tough, I am a woman, and I can lead my country.
Well, you've convinced me and certainly our viewers, but what about your husband? What does he think about this job that you do?
My husband was assassinated 3 years ago.
Are you dating?
What was the line?
Are you dating?
That's Phil. One question. Jan Hooks is the talented actress who was Cory Aquino. She could not be here, having a Los Angeles engagement. We miss her. Only member of our missing family you wanted to say.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that she's also on the cast.
That is funny, kiddo.
just wanted to mention, just want to drop that. I wasn't trying to hurt anybody.
I think a big reason the show's doing well is a producer, Jim Downey, who Dana will confirm, and all of us is a huge, one of the head writer for years and does a lot of
and of course Lauren
political work.
Yeah.
And Lauren,
We don't want to mention, forget Lauren. Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever been sued by anybody that you portrayed on Saturday Night Live?
They usually like it. I mean, we do the two women from Attitudes and kind of roast them. They love it, so.
I just want to make a comment that I noticed that Geraldo Rivero is on at the same time as you are.
Yeah.
And I hope there's not too much competition.
Yeah. You...
No, instead of watching them, they may be watching the other program.
You know, if you hadn't stood up to say that, I would not worry about it. Now that you've mentioned it.
I like both.
Yeah.
I like both.
Well, what should we do?
Try to, I don't know, change the time.
Well,
go back to 9 o'clock.
Yeah, but why doesn't he change?
Well, he just came on because of you.
Oh, I see. So then maybe I should change.
But now Joe Rivers is at 9.
Now you got Joan Rivers. Yeah. Where is Oprah in all this?
I forgot about her.
Oh, you did? Well, most people haven't. I should remind you.
Your first choice.
Yeah. Well, I do thank you for making it. And we'll be back in just a moment.
We're not here to talk, we're here to pop you up. Oh no, I don't believe it. You know, I have seen so many girly men in my life, but I have never seen such a girly man as this.
Yeah. You know, Hans, if he took off his belt, he could cause a flavolence, huh?
That's right. So, you've been pumping up, I see.
Oh, yes, you pumped me up.
That was about as offbeat as you can get there, Phil. All right.
Yeah, you know, Phil is a pathetic girly man. Yeah.
That's right. Here's how you do it. We are ready. Ready?
I'm ready.
We just want to pump. Wait, one more time. We missed a little thing there. There's a little double clap. All right, here we go. We just want to pump you up. At least 8 people know who this character is.
Phil. Yes. Never mind.
I'd like to ask Dana to do another character. If you could do the dance that the chat lady does, but roll up your pants since we see your legs on TV. The church lady. I'm sorry, the church lady.
Okay, well, only if you'll do it with me. Come up on stage. All right, come on up. I'll show you. All right, hands to the side. You're on the Phil Donahue show. Yes, it's not a dream. Okay, chin up. Think superior. Go this way. Think superior, and then do a little strut. No. Like that, chin up. Now think superior. There we are. We're better than anybody else. Okay, there you go. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Would you consider as a group making a movie together?
Sure they will.
We have it in our contract that we may be required to make a Saturday Night Live movie. It hasn't materialized yet. They've got 2 more years.
Yes.
How many weeks of the year do you actually do this, the show itself?
Yeah, 20 weeks. 20 weeks a year.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yes, ma'am.
We have a 2-part question here. Most of you have said that you don't have any prior experience in acting. How did you choose Saturday Night Live?
They chose us.
Yeah.
Yes. What is it? Oh, I want to show you the liar. Is it ready?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Here's Brother Lovitz at work on Saturday Night Live as the liar. Cue the man.
I'm also the official spokesman for NBC. Yeah, that's it. Who am I kidding? I'm the owner of NBC. And I've been asked to clear up some of those beautiful rumors about Saturday Night Live. Now, as you know, the ratings have been astronomical. Through the roof. Why, better than the The Cosby Show. Yeah, that's it. We're neck and neck with The Cosby Show. And last week we pulled ahead. Yeah. They had a 54 share, yeah, and we had a 9, D9 share. And that was a rerun. In fact, we weren't even on that night. Yeah, that's the ticket.
I asked Dana when we were off the air how old he was, and he told me to ask him when he was on the air.
Oh, yeah. Dana,
No, I'm 34, but I read at a 36-year-old level.
And we told him he looked like 16.
We gotta go. We'll be back in a moment. Tell him. Tell him.
We'll be back in a moment. Don't go away.
For today's show, send $3 to Donahue Transcripts, 267 Broadway, New York, New York, 1007, or call 212-227-READ.
In my next life, I will be a star on Saturday Night Live. Let me just say once again, the 15th anniversary celebration of this, the most influential comedy institution of its generation, takes place on NBC Sunday night from 9 to 11:30. Count them, 2.5 hours. And in that connection, we are pleased to present, you got something here for us? Please bring it in. Here is cake and punch for everybody to celebrate SNL's 15th anniversary.
So this is like a salmon thing.
Services provided and promotional fees paid by the following.
Yes, I am the Muffin Man. Now I am the Baller Man.
Imperial. Only our taste deserves the crown.
True Value Hardware Stores, your place for service and selection where you can get the packing house quality of their exclusive Harvard cutlery in sets or open stock.
The Drake offers an exciting weekend in New York at a special price. The only Swiss hotel on Park Avenue. For reservations, call 800-DRAKE New York or 212-421-0900.
Yes, I'm really hungry. I enjoy Victoria's character a lot, and I just wondered if she's ever done any dramatic roles.
Susan says raising